So we have to start by understanding the world we're in. I call it the global innovation economy. It has three characteristics. Intense competition, that's no surprise to you. Rapid exponential improvement in most areas of technology. And it's unrelentingly demanding. In today's world, if you don't keep up, you can go away really, really fast. In today's world, the only path for the West and the United States is continuous high-value innovation. That is it. That is the only thing that's going to create prosperity, environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and security. That is it. That's all there is. Fortunately, because of those exponential increasing technologies that are now based mostly on ideas and bits as opposed to atoms and muscle, they tend to move really fast. And every time a technology improves by a factor of 10, if not 100, it opens up whole new markets. And it makes room for new companies. And you know what's happening in healthcare, in energy, media and entertainment, communications of all sorts, and consumer electronics. All of these fields are changing dramatically, very fast, and they're open to new players all the time. At the same time, there are huge markets, the biggest markets the world's ever seen. We tend to only think of our markets here, but the truth is the biggest markets are somewhere else. Why can't we take advantage of those too? We should, right? Let me give you a more specific example, medicine, just to give one. It wasn't that long ago that medicine was based on anatomy and physiology, then chemistry and physics. But now it's turning into an information technology. As we decode the genome, when we begin to understand what it means. So when you go into a hospital sometime in the future, the doctor will be able to tell that a drug that's good for you might be bad for me. Or more specifically, what is really going wrong? It's going to become more like an information technology. And it's going to open up new applications, new devices, new systems, a whole area of advanced developments. How many billion-dollar opportunities do you think there are just there? Do you think it's one? Think it's 10? 100? How can we know? What is it, about the seventh of the world's economy, healthcare? And it's about to be turned on its head. But we're not doing a very good job. Here's an amazing curve. It shows the lifetime of the 500 biggest companies in America. And there are two. Lifetime means it either gets bought or it goes bankrupt, it goes away. So there are two interesting things about this curve. One of these big ups and downs, when companies live longer or go away faster, those are the business cycles. And right now we're in a down business cycle. But if we don't mess it up, it'll come back. The second thing that's amazing about this chart is that at the turn of the century, if you were one of the biggest companies in America, you lasted for 100 years before you went away. Remember that quaint idea of lifetime employment? Pretty much gone, huh? By the time a graduate today reaches 35, they'll probably have 6 different jobs. Now, the other thing, though, is that today, when you become one of those big companies, on the average, you've got about 20 years left before you go away. Imagine that. You just became what you dream about. You have great people, great customers, partners. Everything's in place. And just at that moment, you become a dinosaur. And you don't adapt fast enough, and you go away. Look what's happened just here over the last 10 years. Companies that were on top of the world, MySpace, Sun, Motorola, phones. That's the heart and soul of that company. They just sold it. HP. They're talking about it potentially being bought now. And Nokia. These are all 10 years ago companies on top of the world, and today they're all struggling. So here's a quote that I like from Gary Hamel at Harvard. Every CEO will at least give lip service to the idea that the world is moving faster and we need to do a better job in innovation. But if you go into an organization and ask people to describe their innovation system, you get blank looks. They have none. Here at SRI, we've worked with dozens and dozens of major companies of all sizes around the world, and that's what we find too. It's amazing to us. I never would have believed it if we hadn't gone into these companies and see what they're doing, that they really don't have a productive, effective innovation system. It's not the only thing, though. Consumer products generally. This is the HP tablet that was out 28 days before it was pulled. In fact, in general, a consumer product only lasts, only 1 out of 10 or 20 lasts for more than a year before they go away. Most of them are irrelevant because they're not addressing a need that the marketplace wants. Think of the waste of that. I mean, just for a second. Let's just say 9 out of 10 go away after a year, making no money. Imagine the waste that that represents. I'm going to come back to this. It is gigantic. Tech transfer programs. Stanford's lucky because it's surrounded by VCs and all the advantages here, but most schools are not. Most tech transfer programs are wrong. Even the name is wrong. Tech transfer sounds like tech push as opposed to market pull. And if you're not doing market pull, you're not going to be successful. And we all know about our military and their innovation processes, which are almost guaranteed to overrun, right? You can see it. The front page news, one activity after another. Now, this world is not going to slow down. It's going to continue because eventually there'll be 7 billion people around the planet contributing their ideas. And so the world's just going to go faster and faster. The good news is that's going to raise prosperity all around the world. In fact, today we're getting more people out of poverty than any time in the history of the world. It's one of the major achievements. And it's because of innovations that have already happened. Now, we in Silicon Valley have a very special sense about what it takes to be successful in this world. Superb teams, not good teams, the best teams. Important opportunities, not ones that are just interesting. We don't want to waste our time on little things. We want to go after things that matter. Compelling solutions, so we can be successful. We pay attention to the innovation fundamentals. What is that? Well, those are things like understanding the language of innovation, the concepts of innovation, understanding what a really compelling value proposition looks like, how to get those answers really, really fast so you can be successful fast. There's a whole range of things that we teach in our innovation course here to our employees so everybody here knows what they are. And I personally actually do that workshop for every new employee when they come in the door. You need a complete ecosystem. Silicon Valley obviously is the role model for that. We have everything here. Great universities, great VCs, talent, everything is here, and great weather, of course, and great food. And you need supportive government policies. We have some of that, but we've been going the wrong way in terms of the way the government treats what we do. Now, I would say that every time you look at some kind of innovative activity, whether it's in a school or the government or a company, if it violates these principles, the chance of success goes to zero really fast. That's one of the big learnings I've had over my career. You try and fool around with the fundamentals of innovation, you will not be successful. Do you know that more than half the VCs in the Valley right now are underwater? The best people in the world are struggling. And frankly, when we see some of those folks, we can see they've tried to cut corners and try and violate some of these principles. The good ones never do. Never. Because if you do, you fail. And our government almost never adheres to these principles.